So the whole point of peanut butter and jellyfish is that whether you're in the aquarium business or the jellyfish business, it can be a bit sticky. So it's now the middle of February. It's been a month and a half since we tried to follow up with our friend Bucky, the service guy in Louisiana. And apparently he's aware as to what it was he did and is either too embarrassed or really doesn't care. Because what he most likely did was persuaded that Louisiana doctor to go with a more traditional fish system. One that he could supply the tank, the equipment, the livestock, and the service. The upsides are twofold. One, we did receive the bank wire transfer of the money for a 36 in-wall jelly aquarium system from those service guys in Switzerland. So there's another good sale that will start the process rolling here in just a second. And I did receive that $500 or $480 payment from the doctor in Louisiana for the LED lighting system, the color changing one. So things are kind of looking up at this point, which now brings me to what I have to do after receiving the money from that doctor, and that is I have to provide that color changing LED lighting system. We did import some components here from China a few months ago on behalf of that doctor, and that was what I kind of used to encourage the payment for those LEDs. So now it's kind of one of those be careful what you wish for situations, because you never know, it just may come true. And what I mean by that is I now have to produce the color changing LED lighting system. So the color-changing LED lighting system consists of about a half a dozen different components. There's the light hood itself, which we just ordered from the tank manufacturer. This is what will put all those electrical components inside. There's a clear lens here that serves as the cover or the lid over the top of the tank. Inside the items that we ordered, again, is about 4 or 5 different components. There are the LEDs themselves, which come on a 5-meter spool. I'll talk a bit more about those in just a moment. In addition, there's a power supply that brings it from 110 down to, in this case, 5 amps, which is the operating voltage of the LED lights. There's a series of connectors, and again, I'll explain how they attach to the LED spool in just a moment. And then there's the driver or controller. This is what actually has the software programming to make the various 3 different paces or choices of light selection. And of course the remote control to turn it on and off. The one funny thing I thought was whenever you import or deal with a country where there's a language or translation barrier, there's always something that gets misunderstood. And I remember clearly asking this fellow in an email, do I have all the components that make up an operational system? And his answer was yes. After we received the shipment, we found out that we were missing one particular thing. And that is the power cord that brings the alternating current into the transformer or ballast here, right here. So these are easily gotten, but I just kind of thought it was interesting how when you get involved where there's a issue in communications, there's always something that's misunderstood. So of all the different components involved, the actual LEDs are the most interesting. They arrive in a spool. They're held in this anti-static type bag to prevent moisture from getting into these sensitive electronics. And as you can see, it arrives in a spool. Now the interesting thing about LEDs is they're basically an electronic circuit. And what we have here is a spool or a ribbon on a spool of LED lights, like one giant continuous string of LEDs. Now, what's really interesting about these LED light strips is the fact that not only are they one continuous electronic circuit, but every 3 LEDs, or each one of those squares that you see there, that's a light emitting diode, you'll notice that there appears to be a series of stitches. That's actually a break point, so that on this spool here, which is 15 feet long or 5 meters long, every 3 LEDs, you have the option of breaking or cutting that electronic circuit. That'll leave 4 bare ends, which you would in turn attach another connector here, whether it be a slip type connector, which is what I assume that I bought here, or a solder connection. So for me to determine how much or which components I needed to purchase from this company in China, I had to go through and kind of create my needs list. And I've got a series of different sizes here, and the components that each one of those sizes or jelly aquariums, what the components it would require to assemble a light hood with color changing LEDs in those various sizes. This is the 48-inch, so we've already determined what we're going to need lengthwise, component-wise. So I think before we start cutting or breaking components away from the spool, we're just going to plug the entire spool in and see if it works from square one. So what we need to do here is take the ends of the LED ribbon, which happen to have these color-coded wires on them, and connect them into this screw block terminal on the end of the controller or processor.
This type of a terminal block connector is not really what I wanted. I'm not sure if my supplier misunderstood or if this was his only option. The issue that I foresee is not only is it tedious because it's so small and requires small tools, but the fact that my eyesight isn't that good anymore. But like a trooper, we'll keep moving forward and make it work.
So with the ends of the spool screwed into the screw block terminal or connector, we'll secure the pin connector from the power supply to the back side of the controller, and we'll take our 110 volts and plug it into the transformer. What we should get is a power supply light that comes on here. If not, it'll be a bunch of sparks. And you saw a brief flash there, and you can see here the red power on light is glowing. So we'll now take our remote control, the handheld remote control for the on-off, and we'll turn it on. And we can immediately see that we're getting a rotation of colors. There's a series of different programs that rates that the lights change at. This is a much slower version. Colors kind of seem to melt into each other. Here we're at an individual color: red, green, yellow, blue, purple, aqua, and that's actually white, which is really a combination of all lights. And then here's kind of a psycho high-pitched pace, and then back into a color change, and then the version where the colors kind of melt into each other. So at least we know that the components as a whole, before we've begun to disassemble them, do work. Hi, my name's Jim Stein. I'm the LA Fish Guy. I wanted to let you know about a new site I found called eAquarium.
They have everything you need for your aquarium, from equipment to live fish. It's easy to use and intuitive. Membership is free and you can buy and sell anything to do with fish in a secure environment. Finding what you want is easy. They have some great search capabilities, and the directory has businesses from all over the country. If you sell a fish and need shipping help, they offer great advice. If you would rather have a professional like me help with shipping or even weekly aquarium service, you can find us in the service listings.
And speaking of service reminds me of my customer, Scott.
During a recent service visit, he showed me his Flamingi Tang that's outgrown the tank. He needed to move him out but didn't know how. I told him about eAquaria. He joined up and is finding him a new home. Now he's hunting on eAquaria to find a new tank. There's one now. I bet you Scott's gonna buy it.
Guys, eAquaria is a great resource. Join for free and connect with people all over the country that share your passion. Find great deals from aquarium stores and locate certified service to help you out. Do yourself a favor. Check out eAquaria. Hi there, my name's Jim Stein and you know me as the LA Fish Guy. Well, I also wear a couple of other hats. One of them is the Jellyfish tank called the Jellyquarium, and the third is myfishtank.com. I offer an entire line of acrylic aquariums ranging from rectangular to hexagon, flatback hex, as well as the custom curve front aquariums. There's also an entire line of stands and canopies ranging from MDF to pine to oak with a variety of different finishes available. And the website is even smart enough that you can calculate what the freight and crate charges to your location will be. That's myfishtank.com.
Are you ready for the Marine Aquarium Expo this coming March 31st through April 1st of 2012? This is the largest aquarium consumer trade show in North America and a destination spot for marine hobbyists. Held at the newly remodeled OC Theron Event Center and featuring over 100 exhibitors, speakers, demonstrations, and a huge product raffle. For more information, visit marineaquariumexpo.com. Having previously determined on paper the number of components and items that we'll need, we're now going to sit down and cut the 4 LED strips off the spool. We've previously determined the length of these, and we'll now go ahead and try to determine if we can find a break point, the stitches that I referred to a moment ago, that's close to the length we're looking for. That's the point where we'll take and separate them. The means of separating should be as simple as bending them so that we can break the connection there.
Now we may have messed up here. You see, we didn't get an even break there, and you see the solder tabs on one side but not 4 of them all on one side. So in a situation like that, I may have just screwed up 2 ends. I mean, I could take another link out of it and make it a little bit shorter, but I don't know if that would be right. So this one will be a little more careful on. Here's where we want to make the, come on, focus, thank you. There's where we want to make the break right there. And so we're going to carefully try to bend it right between those two. That kind of breaks it right there. Wiggle it back and forth just a little bit, and then what I'm going to do is, instead of using that razor blade, I'm going to take the scissors and make kind of a clean cut right through there.
And so there I should have 4 individual LED light strips that I should end up being able to use these connectors here to connect to the end of here. It's a slide connector, and that in turn I have to bare the ends of these wires. This is kind of the pain in the ass right here, and connect all those to the screw block or terminal screw block. It also leaves me with a little extra here. I haven't calculated yet, but certainly there looks like there should be at least one more string in there that could help out on a future set of 4.
So we're working on positioning the controller that's inside the light hood, and we're running the DC power line up, and certainly there's enough room to plug it in, but I wanted to put a little knot right about here so that there's no real tug on that cord and trying to consistently pull it out of its socket, but they've got this, I don't know what it is, probably a fuse or a transformer or just one of those screw you up kind of things in line. So the only solution there is either to not secure it, which there is plenty of room, and to a certain degree it secures itself well enough in there that I suppose I could not, but there's that tug right there, and I would probably be better off if I just drilled that hole out a little bit. That way I could put this thing through it and then put the knot at this end. Takes a little bit of the length away, but unfortunately the transformer's not long enough to begin with. I've also marked where the controller sits, a couple little spots here so I can drill a couple holes to put a couple little screws in to hold it in place. And then I did take one of my connectors here and kind of tried to learn how it actually connects, and in the long run I was successful in making all of that work, but I can see it's going to end up being a lot of work trying to get all that connected up in there just right without any bad connections. I kind of goofed up this one connector a little bit, although I don't really understand exactly how it's supposed to work, and I guess that was the cost of learning how it was going to work. So I drilled a couple of holes so that I could run some little machine screws through there. They're what secure the controller down here. I'm now starting to peel the stickum off the back side of these LED strips. These ribbons have a adhesive on the back side that you can peel away. And I have marked the underside of the light hoods so that I should be able to get a straight line.
Actually, I should be able to get 4 straight lines. Previously, I used a ruler and a tape measure, and I marked 4 equally spaced parallel lines. I also marked a starting point so that the 4 ribbons, all being the same length, should end up being left to right and bottom to top, equal in all ways.
I'm still not 100% certain about these connectors.
Well, certain or not, there's only one way to experience it, and that's to keep moving forward. So we'll go ahead and peel the stickum off the back of the 4th strip. Go ahead and position it so that the next step will actually end up being determining how those connectors actually connect to the ends of the LED ribbon strips.
And I did tell you that we got the money wired into our bank account from the service guys in Switzerland, so that's a good thing as well. The frustrating part was we've not built the 36-inch Jellyquarium specifically yet, and so I forewarned the manufacturer that he might want to brush up on his drawing skills because I was anticipating that order. Well, again, I got the order, the money came in the bank, I notified the salesperson that I got the order. Unfortunately, the owner of the business, the one who has to sit down and do all the drawings, decided that it should be more expensive than what was currently quoted price-wise. So needless to say, I lost a little bit of money on that deal.